Afternoon's meeting between Sligo and Leitrim at Markievicz Park. Now, Leitrim gave debuts to 7 players this afternoon, but Sligo were hot favourites. There for us was Adrian Eames.
Kevin Walsh gives championship debuts to 2 players, David Rooney from nearby St John's and Francis Quinn in attack. But Sligo start without 3 of the Connacht winning side of 2007. Johnny Davy and David Kelly are out. Mark Brownie has a hamstring injury but is included amongst the replacements. It's all changed for Leitrim. Mickey Moorhan's debuts to no fewer than 7 players today, including fullback Ronan Gallagher and forward Adrian Kroll, who both impressed in the league. Significantly, Emlyn Mulligan returns. He's missed the last 2 championship campaigns with cruciate ligament injuries. It's 6 years to the day since Sligo and Leitrim last met in the championship, and Leitrim under Desi Dolan Sr. that day won in Cork Sean McDermott. Leitrim hoping that history will repeat itself, albeit at Markievicz Park this afternoon. An early challenge on Dermot Reynolds' free out awarded to Leitrim. Conditions, well, rather blustery. Sligo playing with the aid of the breeze in the first half. Leitrim attacking into the Ben Bulben end of the ground, or the Sligo town end if you prefer. Lovely morning has given way to showers, but there is that stiff breeze to contend with. Here's Adrian Kroll laying it back to Wayne McKeown. Emlyn Mulligan back after those 2 years out with those cruciate ligament injuries. Leitrim starting very, very brightly here. It's with Wayne McKeown from the Sean O'Heslin's club in Ballinamore. He gets the return, he breaks the tackle, and he tees it up. A chance here for Paul Brennan to land the opening score of the game inside a minute in Markievicz Park. And that's the start that Leitrim would have hoped for. Excellent point, and what a start. Taylor keeps it in play, lays it back to Stephen Cohen. This is better from Sligo. Francis Quinn making his championship debut, goes for the point, and he has got that one. Excellent score for Sligo. Well, they needed to strike back, and Francis Quinn has done the needful. So a change of referee. Rory Hickey has taken over from Joe Curley. Obviously picked up a knock, so a change in officialdom here, and Rory Hickey is now the man in charge. Conor Byrne fisting it back now to Daniel Lowe. Plenty of time, no pressure on Daniel Lowe, and he's allowed to drive forward here for Leitrim. Good movement off the ball for Leitrim as well. Here's McKeown going for the point, and Sidney measure it perfectly. Brilliant point outside of the right boot from Wayne McKeown, and the man from Ballinamore makes it 3-1 in favour of Leitrim. It's Sligo on the attack with Adrian Marin trying to turn away from trouble. He manages to get the pick up, and Marin, well, that's a real skyscraper of an effort, and it finds the target. Just what Sligo needed at this point in the game. Almost 15 minutes gone in the first half. Their second point of the game scored by Adrian Marin. Gary Reynolds turning away from trouble. Now Mossy Byrne bounces the ball, and just look how it skidded off the surface. And Mossy Byrne with the crossfield angled ball to apply pressure to the Sligo defence. Adrian Kroll back now for Glancy, and Glancy left-footed raises the white flag, and Leitrim inch 3 points clear here. James Glancy, the captain, on the score sheet. Here's Charlie Harrison from St John's, breaks the tackle. Now Sean Davy. This is more like it from Sligo, playing with real purpose here. McGovern lays it back to Sean Davy. The early ball in there. It's 2v2, it might break in Sligo's favour. Here's a chance for Marin. Drills it over the bar, might well have been a goal for Sligo. Leitrim didn't deal with a dropping ball into the square. And all sorts of bother here. Good work from Eamon O'Hara. And Marin smashes it over the bar. Robert Lowe on for McKeown. Lovely pass forward here for Adrian Kroll. And Kroll trying to get away from Charlie Harrison, cutting inside. Right-footed. It's measured precisely in and over the bar. Brilliant score from Adrian Kroll. And these Leitrim lads are on a mission here. And the mission is to meet up with Roscommon on the 12th of June. Excellent point from Adrian Kroll. Alan Costello wins it for Sligo. Has support from Tony Taylor. This is Taylor running onto it. Chance here of a point for Tony Taylor. Goes for the point. All too easy. Well, Mickey Moore will be absolutely furious with that one. A very soft point coughed up by Leitrim. Taylor under no pressure, gambling forward, and he struck it over the crossbar. Here's Eamon O'Hara. They need their big players to perform in the second half, Sligo. Mark Breheny, one of two changes made by Kevin Walsh in the first half. Breheny and Sean Davey both introduced. Breheny a doubt, of course, because of a hamstring injury. Here's Eamon O'Hara in space, lays it off to Mark Breheny, off his left boot, goes for the point. That's precisely what Sligo needed right at the start of the second half. Mark Breheny with the point. Oh, that's a real fill-up for Sligo. The layoff from Eamon O'Hara and pointed brilliantly by Breheny. Ball lobbed in. Leitrim standing firm and defending well. And a free-in awarded for that high challenge on Adrian Marin. And a chance for Sligo to tie it up here at 8 points apiece. Adrian Marin, right-footed. Swings it in and over the bar. And it's all level at Markbridge Park. And Sligo are right back in it. And this one is on a knife edge. In the centre and midfield foul conceded as the Leitrim man gathered. The Leitrim man was Mossy Byrne. Not the first piece of ball he's won in this game. Free is taken quickly. Here's James Glancy. Glancy now with an angle ball. It may well work out well with Leitrim, and it has. Oh, it's a brilliant goal from Conor Byrne. Oh, the Leitrims have gone mad here at Markbridge Park. Glancy's ball in, and Conor Byrne dispatches it to the net. Glancy's ball in behind the Sligo defence, and Conor Byrne slipped onto it and smashed it into the back of the net. What a goal for Conor Byrne, what a goal for Leitrim. Well, it's Leitrim by 4 points once again. A brilliant goal from Conor Byrne. Now can Sligo hit back here? They really need to do so. It's dropping in, and has it dropped over? It's a white flag for Sligo. Well, the referee's umpire was in no great hurry to flag that one, but it is a score, and it's Stephen Cohen who's hit back here for Sligo. Robert Lowe. Leitrim trying to maintain their composure here and work the score, not be rushed into taking it early. MacDonald going crossfield for Emlyn Mulligan. Here's Ronan Gallagher, the full-back, arriving at pace, and he's been fouled, and it's going to be a free-in for Leitrim. Well, Eamon O'Hara was incensed with that decision, but it's going to be a free-in for Leitrim, and an opportunity here for Mickey Moore inside to open up a 4-point lead here. A red card for Curran, and in the closing seconds here, Sligo have been reduced to 14 men. Well, it just goes from bad to worse for Sligo. Now, what can Sligo do here? It's Charlie Harrison, the captain, trying to lead by example. Lays it back here. Sligo have to try and work a goal. Neil Ewing is in there. Leitrim trying to win possession back. Wayne McKeown is there. It's all a bit scrappy, and in the end Leitrim come out on top, or have they? A free in has been awarded here, and it's going to be a free in for Sligo, and now it's all boiling over in the heat of Markbridge Park, and several players getting involved. It's very unseemly. By and large, this game has been played in an exemplary manner. Not what you want to see. So let's see what happens. There's another red card, and Emlyn Mulligan is off, and there's a yellow as well for Eamon O'Hara. So Eamon O'Hara and Emlyn Mulligan sent off here following that skirmish right at the death in Markbridge Park. They console each other. So Mulligan and O'Hara receiving red cards here. Now Sligo, what will they do here? Well, this game finishing in a real welter of excitement. 4 minutes now, stoppage time have been played. Sligo trailing by 4 points. They need to go for a goal. It's driven in, and it's driven over the crossbar. McCran with a kick out. The Leitrim supporters rejoice. Leitrim have caused a major upset in Connacht. They had beaten last year's beaten final Sligo by 110 to 10 points. Well, they've known many dark days down through the years. 1994 was a huge high point for Leitrim. But today at Markievicz Park, they have come through and they have deservedly made it through to a semi-final meeting with Roscommon on the 12th of June.
I think now after today that some of the pundits in the GAA will maybe be kind enough to admit that they didn't do their homework or their research, or maybe didn't want to, but at least maybe today they will see that there's two teams out and played football. I know our lads went out to go man to man and to give it a go and play the way it should be played, and they deserve all the praise.
No complaints. Would have complaints on my own side in relation to maybe the hunger or appetite, and there was lots of times that we knew Leitrim were good ball players. They can pass around the ball and pass it out around the arcs and stuff, but the instructions will be from our side to certainly push out and make it hard. I don't think we made it hard enough on the day for them. So, it's a hard one to take, especially at home. But at the same time, Leitrim played very good football out there, and they were hard to break down. And that's the way it is. That's the way sport is, I suppose. And we have to get on the bike again, and let's get off it.
Yeah, well done, Leitrim. They'll be dancing on the streets of Mull tonight. There's no doubt about that. Kevin, how big a shock was that in Connacht?
It was a huge shock. The pundits that Mickey's referring to would have said there was 4 teams in it, myself included. Wouldn't have seen Leitrim. 7 debutants today, 4 of them in the forward line. Perhaps Sligo missing their 2 key forwards, Breheny and Kelly, might have given them the opportunity. But the hunger on display from Sligo when I watched it on tape, it just wasn't there. That sort of passion for a championship. In the context of losing last year's Connacht final and making amends, that's always the battle cry you're leaving the dressing room. We'll be back next year. That's a really poor performance. That's a really bad result for Sligo. Knocks the wind out of their sails. But look, Leitrim have come through. It's a fantastic result for them with the resources that they have. Mickey is accusing pundits of being lazy. Look, they were well outsiders, in the context of today's game. Of course, they're prepared to win the game. Everybody does, but you have to look at what's in front of your eyes.
He's a wild man for whinging. Like, even when they win, it's that old poor mouth thing. At this stage,
yeah, it's a great win.
But it was a brilliant victory for Leitrim, and everybody's delighted about it. Yeah. And I think the manager should be reflecting that with confidence and striding forward instead of that old poor mouth sort of wheedling off that everyone was writing us off and all. I mean, nobody cares about that. It was a great day for Leitrim. Let's get on with it.
All right, well, let's look at that. I mean, they didn't kick some poor wides, Tony, but you were very impressed with some of their scores.
Yeah, I thought their intensity right through the field was fantastic. Their hunger and work rate right through was brilliant, but they got some fantastic scores as well. Here we see Daniel Lowe coming forward with the ball. Gives it into his wing back, Wayne McKeown, and a beautiful, against the wind on the outside of his foot over the bar. Here's Wayne coming forward again, gives a great ball into Adrian Kroll in the corner. Fantastic player. Comes on the inside and over the bar again. There's some fantastic scores, but I think their goal was the difference in the whole game, really. Their full forward right through, Conor Byrne, was outstanding. Here's a great ball in. Fantastic turn. If you hold it there now, you can see the space. The positioning of the full back is wrong because Leitrim are playing with the wind. If they were playing against the wind, his positioning is perfect. But they're against the wind. He picks out the space. Perfect ball into space. And a fantastic finish. Again, if we can look at that in the replay, a small angle to aim at, picks his spot, and that's as good a goal as you see anywhere. And that's really, they deserve the victory, and they deserve to get the goal like that because they were by far the best team. And definitely Sligo have lost that hunger. They've gone away back since last year.
It was a delightful goal.
Great
really.
beautiful pass. Yeah.
But Joe, some of the Sligo shooting was really poor as well. I mean, they could easily have closed that gap.
Well, I think the point the boys are making is right, that a team plays like that when the wind has been taken out of their sails, and for them everything last year, the Grail was the Connacht title, and they did all the spade work. Like, they beat Galway after the replay, they beat Mayo in an epic game, and just when they thought their name was on the cup, they forgot to turn up for Roscommon, and it was a sickening blow for them. And then, of course, alongside that, they find themselves in an ultra-competitive Division 2 where they just went from one humiliation to the next. And you don't have much time to recover in Gaelic football. It's not like soccer where you have a long season. You know,
but they weren't humiliated in Division 2.
But, you know, if your experience is that you've lost again and you've lost again and you've lost again,
Does
and
become
the doubts are sown in your mind, and then you've got a team like Leitrim who are all of a sudden rejuvenated, and Mickey has picked 7 newcomers, and they're coming in, and really it was very much like the Roscommon experience for them today.
They might be looking to Roscommon too, because the winners play Roscommon.
I would have thought now that Sligo took Leitrim for granted today as well, and Sligo aren't good enough. You know, it's a bit like the experience Fermanagh had a few years ago. A small county like that, they can only punch above their weight, play inspirational football for so long, and then they just drop back again, and that's the experience.
And they can't afford players like David Kelly being missing, because he'd get on.
No, they can't.
Okay, they also had 2 red cards for Sligo. There were 3 players sent off in the match, Kevin.
Yeah, it wasn't a particularly nasty game, but a lot of players, you know, will look at this night and see that they lost the run of themselves in terms of their discipline. This looks innocent enough, and when we see it in slow motion, you see it's not at all innocent. You know, Brian Kern does a really, really silly thing. He stamps on the number 3, Ronan Kirk, and the bit here is magnificent work by the umpires, Des. You know, I was looking at this twice before I could see it. You'll just see it in the bottom right-hand part of the screen.
Yeah.
It's coming up now on a tick, and just what he was at was just ridiculous. And well done to the umpires and referees. Red card, and that's what it deserved. This
just mean, isn't it? Like?
Yeah, it's I don't know. There's no requirement for it. This was just silly stuff. You know, I think Eamon O'Hara at this stage had, you know,
he got frustrated.
He got frustrated.
Yeah, the game was gone.
The game was gone from them. The important point to note, and this is an important point for Emlyn Mulligan in terms of Roscommon in the semi-final. It looks like a straight red, but if you see it just before, he flashed a yellow first. So both men got yellows. Mulligan got the red thereafter.
That was sensible, wasn't it?
And it was sensible.
If that happened in a hurling match, the ref would just say, look, let's get on with it, lads. And we need a bit more of that in the game. It's far too sanitised now. And, you know, Tony was making the point earlier, which is right. Players are afraid to go in now for a shoulder. Yeah. They're afraid to go into a 50-50. They're sort of sitting...
If it's a free, you get your reward by taking the free. To get a yellow, it's senseless sometimes.
All right, well, we'll see lots more tackles coming up later on, because we have much more to come in the Sunday game tonight. Join us after the break for more. To Killarney. Tipperary's colourful manager John Evans said during the week that after being drawn against Kerry for the 2nd year running, he wouldn't be buying any lottery tickets. Well, let's see if he got lucky today.